Hi, welcome to Writing with Sandhya. And it's Valentine's Day approaching soon, love and romance in the air. So, welcome to this episode where we're going to be talking about a book called A Break in Love, written by Rrashima Swaarup Verma. And welcome to the show, Rrashima. She's a very busy consultant. Thank you for making the time to come on the show.
It's entirely my pleasure, Sandhya. Thank you so much for inviting me. And see, I'm trying, in the mood of the day to wear
Yeah.
something red. I'm wearing red. I tried.
Thanks for that. And so, the mood of the day, I have a little heart for you. Yes, so it's I collect paperweights, and I found this little heart paperweight, so I thought I'll give it to you today. So let's start talking about your book.
Thank you.
So can you tell me about your book, A Break in Love? What's the premise of the book?
Sure. So yeah, A Break in Love is a contemporary romance. It's an urban romance, and it's a book that does a deep dive into relationships
Mhm.
and the complexities of marriage. And see, it's a book that's written in a very light-hearted vein, but it does answer a lot of pertinent questions that we ask ourselves all the time about our relationships, about the challenges that we face, why certain things don't work out.
Mhm.
And all in all, I'll say that it's a book with universal appeal. So I think everybody will connect and relate with it. And the general feedback that I've been getting from readers is that there are a lot of instances in it where they literally go like, "Oh my God, that's something that just happened to me," or "That is so like what I have been facing." So those are the kind of situations, realistic situations that I've tried to incorporate in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got your book and started reading it, so I'm yet to complete it. Again, being Valentine's Day, do you have any tips for couples to maintain a good relationship?
Well, I'm not a counselor, but whatever little I understand, and from my own experiences and from observation around me, I would say that every relationship needs love, it needs passion, it needs trust, faith, and of course mutual respect for each other. But that doesn't mean that a relationship cannot go through hard times. In fact, I think it is unrealistic to expect a relationship not to go through tough times sometimes. So during those times, it's very important to keep the good times in your memory right at the forefront of your memory, because it is the good times that will help you tide over the hard times. So always
Wonderful.
keep it.
That's great advice, and hope it is helpful to some of the viewers. And I got a book. I really like the cover. It is very colorful. Can you show us the cover of the book? And can you talk to us a little bit about the cover? What would you say to an author if they said they wanted to design their own cover? Lovely colors.
Yeah, well, I think as writers, we're all very particular, very possessive about our work.
Mhm.
And obviously, the book cover is the first thing, that a reader or anybody would see when they pick the book up for the first time. So, speaking for myself, I had a very specific and particular thing in mind, when I used to conceptualize what the cover should look like.
Mhm.
And it turned out exactly the way I wanted it, because the team at the Book Bakers did a brilliant job with it. So my advice to other writers is just go straight to the Book Bakers, and they will implement whatever it is that you've visualized or conceptualized for your book. They do a wonderful job.
Yeah. When you said urban romance, I can just see it actually exemplified on the cover. So that's what pops up to me. I think that's great. Yeah. So I think your main characters are there. So would you say that if you met your main character, that you'd get along with him?
So yeah, I think I will have to say that Karan, that's the main character. He and I would get along very well. In fact, I think we'll get along like a house on fire, because, and I'm going to say this even at risk of making my husband a wee bit jealous, but I think Karan is the kind of man every woman can fall in love with. There's something very endearing about him. And why I say this is he's got that old world, old fashioned charm, which is becoming very rare these days. So he's an out and out gentleman. And who can resist? Which woman can resist a gentleman? So, yeah, definitely we would.
Yeah. So, just as a side note, I think the main characters in your book on the cover, they do look a little bit like you and your husband. So maybe he won't be so jealous after all.
Yeah, let's hoping. Here's hoping.
Yeah. So, especially this book, I think it's a lot about emotions and, passion, love, all of that. So, do you feel that a writer needs to feel emotions strongly to write?
I do think so. I think, at least speaking for myself, I feel that I am very passionate about my writing. And everything I write about, all the subjects I write on are subjects that I feel very strongly about. So whether it is love and romance, whether it is women's issues, and I write very widely on women's issues also, whether it is certain social issues, whatever it is I'm writing about, I tend to become very passionate. I am passionate about those things. And so I do think that intense emotion, I think it makes better writers. That's all. It's not that people who don't feel emotion can't write, but I think if you really want to do a deep dive into a subject or you feel strongly about it, I think it comes across more convincingly.
Yeah, that's true. So, going back to Karan, who's your main character, what was the most difficult thing about writing characters from the opposite sex?
Nothing really, Sandhya. In fact, I'll say that, look, even as a woman, suppose I'm writing about a 13-year-old girl. Now, I'm not that age group. I don't have a 13-year-old daughter. I have very less interaction with teenagers. My son is 11, but so we have time to get there, right? He's still young. So as far as teenagers, is concerned, I don't have any experience. But if I'm going to write about a teenager, whether it's a teenage boy or a teenage girl, I will have to do some research there. I will have to observe them. Maybe I'll have to talk to people. So I think it's not so much about the gender. It's about your own experiences. So whoever you've had more experience with, it becomes easier to write about those characters. If you've had more experience, say, working with a lot of men in your job or in whatever profession you're in, if you're working with men all the time, it becomes easy to write about them. So gender notwithstanding, I think a little bit of observation and research will go a long way, whenever you're writing or you're trying to conceptualize a character in your mind.
So this is your first book. And were there any learnings that you had from the process of writing this book?
So I'll just say that the one thing I really learned was that I love writing, that I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So I did learn that writing can be fun, and it didn't feel like a job at all. And in fact, there was this time when I even thought that if this is what I have to do for the rest of my life, then I will consider myself lucky, because it's something that I genuinely and truly enjoy doing. So yeah, that was the learning I took away, that I think I could be a writer full time, and this is fun. It's a nice joyride.
So did you find any part of the book a little harder to write, or was it all easy to write, as you mentioned?
The book per se was quite easy, Sandhya, but I think it was the editing. You see, this book, to start off, it was around 500 pages, and I remember very well that I was told to cut it down to about half. And doing that, because obviously, a 500, that kind of length, I don't know how many people would want to read a book that long. So cutting it down to half was what really, I think, was hard. But other than that, it was fun. The experience of writing it was a lot of fun.
Okay. And were there any parts which were particularly easy to write, which just kind of flew?
So because I was writing on a subject that I felt very passionately about, I think it was all easy. It was smooth sailing. There were a lot of my own experiences which I wanted to include. There was a lot of I think all those observations from people around me, my friends, my colleagues. So it was a lot of fun, and I did put in a lot of humor. There were times when I would be writing and I would literally be laughing out loud, at some of the dialogues and the conversations, because they are hysterical, some of them. So all in all, it was loads of fun.
Okay. So I think they came real to you, and I think you were enjoying them as much as writing about the story. Yeah. So now that you've come, reached this milestone, is there any advice that you'd give to writers who are about to start writing their first book?
Well, I do feel that we are very emotional as writers. We're very emotional about our own work. Our books are literally like our babies, so it's normal and natural to be emotional about them. But it does pay to be a little objective. And so I would tell new writers or aspiring writers, be your own critic, so be objective, be your own critic, and be a tough critic. And do everything you can to perfect your craft, put everything into it. Write about things that really matter to you, or things that you feel strongly about. And most importantly, get yourself a wonderful literary agent like Suhail Mathur, because once he steps in, I think everything smoothens out. He has a way of, I call him the man with the magic touch. And I always say that he has that, ability to smoothen things out for people. So yeah, get yourself a great literary agent like Suhail.
That's wonderful. Yes. So as you mentioned, excuse me, I think people need to feel comfortable with the whole editing process as well, right? All the feedback. What was your experience with the publishers that you had?
I think it was completely smooth, so we were on the same wavelength. My editor at Vishwakarma Publications, she and I were on the same wavelength. So it was a pleasure working with them. First off, I'd just like to say it was a total pleasure working with them. Every suggestion was well received and included, every suggestion that I made. And similarly, suggestions that they made, I think they were totally on point. So from that point of view, the fact that we thought alike, and it was completely, it was smooth sailing working with them. Yeah. So the editing process was very nice. I think they made a lot of very constructive suggestions, and that really strengthened the flow of the book. So it made a lot of difference to the book.
That's great. So now we come to the rapid fire section of the interview.
Okay.
All right. So I know from, I think, just following you on social media that you like to travel. So what's the next place you'd like to travel to?
That's a hard one. There are so many places, and now with this pandemic, we haven't traveled in 2 years, so we're literally starved for travel. But I think I would have to say Argentina. And Latin America is a place that is always, it's really fascinated me. And Argentina, particularly because of the music. So I would love to learn the tango someday if I can, if the opportunity presents itself. So yeah, Argentina.
Okay, that's on my bucket list as well. Yeah. So I think I know you like to go out and have a good time as well. So what's your favorite food?
That's another tough one. I'm a foodie, so it's very difficult to be partial. So I'll tell you what my favorite cuisine is. So it'll be easier. It's Italian, and pizza. Any thin crust pizza is my total comfort food. So when I'm feeling a little down or tired or exhausted, I just dial my pizza, my local pizza delivery company, and they deliver this nice thin crust pizza. So yeah, that's my favorite food.
That's nice. So after Argentina, maybe you should go to Italy, unless you visited there already.
I've been way too many times. So I think since you were talking about bucket list, I assumed it's mostly places that I haven't been to. So
yes, that's true. All right. And I know you do a lot of writing besides, the book that you've come up with. So you've written blogs. So what's a recent blog that you've written?
So I write, like a monthly travelogue for my website. And so the last one I did was New York. And so I picked up some of my own experiences from the city and I converted that into a blog. So you can read that on my website. It's available. In fact, all my travelogues are there. I did one on Udaipur also, which people loved, because again, Rajasthan is a place which I have a very soft corner for. I love Rajasthan. So yeah, there are a lot of travelogues I write every month, one. So check it out on my website.
And we'll give the link to the website in the description below, so you can click over there. And I know you've also written articles which have been accepted in magazines and newsletters. So what's a recent article that you've written?
So I haven't written a lot of articles recently, but I have written a story. This was a short story I wrote for a literary magazine, and it got published this Christmas. So it's actually a special Christmas story. And this is like a tradition I follow because I truly believe in the magic of Christmas. So every year around Christmas, I write a story which, mostly about what it means to different people and what it can mean, how the magic of Christmas can change lives. So there's a story I wrote called House of Bricks. And this is also available on my website, so you can read it there. But it was published in Indian Periodical, which is a literary magazine. So yeah, that's what I wrote.
That's great. And we just finished Poetry Month in January, but I know that you write a lot of poetry as well. So do you have a favorite poem and would you like to read it out to us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to. In fact, since it is Valentine's Day, I think what I'll do is I'll go with a romantic poem that I wrote. Now, this was written quite a few years ago. Yeah. So it's an older poem of mine. I won't say it's my favorite poem, but it is definitely very special to me since it's on my favorite subject, which is romance. Okay, so I'll read this for all of you. This is called Serenade Me. Oh, my love, my only one, it is a little wish of mine that before this night is done, you sing for me a tender line. Let the music warm and sweet just wander all around your ear until the next time that we meet, your words of love so I can hear. Did I hear you breathe my name? The sweetest melody I know. Oh, that song is still the same. Tender words of long ago. 'Tis a dark and moonless night. The moon, it seems, will not appear. But I care not for the light. Somehow your tunes are all I hear. Now let the shining firefly be the only light I see. As the silence bids goodbye, and I hear you sing for me. You see me by my window pane, the gentle breeze that tugs my hair. Oh, sing that song just once again, and let your music fill the air. Alas, it will be break of day, and then soon you will be gone. Though I know you cannot stay, but your voice will linger on. So play a tune to make me smile. Do not let me sleep tonight. Stay, my darling, for a while. Fill my heart with sheer delight.
Oh, that's so sweet. And that's a wonderful poem, wonderful way to actually end this interview. So thank you so much for coming on this channel. I had a lovely time talking to you about the book and wish you all success for your book and for all your future books that you're going to write.
Thank you very much, Sandhya. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here, and I'd like to thank all our viewers and our listeners for tuning in and listening to us. Do read the book. I think it will definitely bring a smile to your face, a tear to your eye. It will stir up a whole lot of emotions inside you. So it's an emotional, fun ride, very engaging, and I hope you all enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.